How rich were the Osage people during the 1920s? Rich enough to get them killed? What if unimaginable wealth became a death sentence? In the 1920s, the Osage Nation became the richest people per capita in the world, due to oil discovered on their land, but then, they began dying under mysterious circumstances. What seemed like isolated deaths revealed a sinister conspiracy that would lead to the birth of the modern FBI. Join us as we unravel Killers of the Flower Moon by David Grann, a haunting true crime story of greed, corruption, and justice. Hello, Book Foxes! Welcome back to the Book Fox Summaries, where books are simplified for your busy life, one summary at a time. If you love books that uncover shocking true stories and other genres, you're in the right place. Stay with us until the end for a special bonus recommendation. In this summary, you'll get all the key details to decide if this book is your next must-read. Stick with us as we break down this gripping historical crime story. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more books simplified. Before diving into the chilling details, let's take a closer look at Killers of the Flower Moon and its author David Grann. Published in 2017, this book was a finalist for the National Book Award, and later adapted into a major film directed by Martin Scorsese. It exposes a hidden chapter in American history, the systematic murders of wealthy Osage people and the corrupt forces behind them. Grann, a celebrated journalist, is known for his investigative works like The Lost City of Z. His meticulous research uncovers one of the FBI's first major murder investigations. Killers of the Flower Moon won the Edgar Award for Best Fact Crime and the Anthony Award for Best Nonfiction in 2018, further solidifying its status as a landmark true crime book. Now, let's step into the dark history of the 1920s Osage Nation. After oil was discovered on their land, the Osage became incredibly wealthy, but their newfound prosperity made them targets. The U.S. government imposed a system where Osage individuals were assigned white guardians to oversee their wealth. Then, Osage people began dying under mysterious circumstances. One was shot, another was poisoned, and more deaths followed. Their pleas for help were ignored by local authorities, many of whom were complicit. The Osage turned to Washington for justice. J. Edgar Hoover, eager to build the credibility of his newly formed Federal Bureau of Investigation, assigned former Texas Ranger Tom White to investigate. White and his team of undercover agents discovered that the murders were not random but orchestrated. Doctors falsified death certificates, law enforcement turned a blind eye, and those responsible were deeply embedded in Osage society. The deeper the investigation went, the more sinister the conspiracy became. Behind this tragedy are key figures whose actions shaped the course of history. Mollie Burkhart, an Osage woman who witnessed her family being targeted and fought for justice. She was one of the few survivors who bravely testified in court. William Hale, a respected businessman and rancher but secretly the mastermind behind many of the murders. He manipulated those around him to carry out his plan while maintaining his public image. Tom White, the determined FBI agent who used forensic investigation to expose the conspiracy. His strategic approach and dedication helped bring the perpetrators to justice. J. Edgar Hoover, the ambitious FBI director who saw this case as a defining moment for his bureau, using it as proof that federal oversight was necessary to combat corruption. Beneath the shocking crimes lies a deeper reflection of society: systemic racism. The government's control over Osage wealth highlights racial injustice. The laws were structured in ways that prevented Native Americans from maintaining financial independence, power and greed. How corruption and unchecked ambition led to murder. The case reveals how far individuals will go for financial gain, even at the cost of human lives. The evolution of forensic investigation. This case pushed the FBI into modern crime-solving techniques. The use of forensic analysis, undercover agents, and federal oversight marked a shift in how justice was pursued in America. What modern cases do you think parallel the injustices seen in this book? Let us know in the comments. Grann's book contains haunting phrases that encapsulate the gravity of these events. There are many ways to kill a man. This statement reflects the insidious nature of the crimes committed against the Osage, where deception was as deadly as violence. The Osage were living in a gilded age of oil money and terror. A stark contrast between immense wealth and extreme vulnerability, illustrating the precarious reality of Osage prosperity. History is a record of the winners, but the Osage murders almost disappeared from it, a reminder of how easily injustices can be buried unless actively brought to light. The Osage murders were not isolated incidents. Rather, they reflect a long history of exploitation against indigenous communities worldwide. Even today, indigenous groups face legal battles over land rights, environmental exploitation, and systemic discrimination. The Osage Nation has continued fighting for justice, ensuring that their history is not erased. This case also reshaped law enforcement, demonstrating the importance of federal oversight in protecting marginalized communities. If you enjoyed this, we recommend checking out Framed: Astonishing True Stories of Wrongful Convictions by John Grisham and Jim McCloskey. It's another eye-opening true crime book that reveals the failures of the justice system. You'll find the link to that book in the description below. Thanks for joining us, Book Foxes. If you enjoyed this summary, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more books simplified for your busy life. And let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Any book summary suggestion is good for us. Hit the like button, share with friends, and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Books simplified, minds amplified. See you in the next summary.